I've heard about your book. The one that made Florence decide you were too dangerous to keep employed but too useful to kill outright. That's a peculiar achievement. Most men are either safe or dead. You found a third option. Exiled to a farm, writing about power you'll never hold again. Is that tragedy or comedy? I genuinely can't tell.
The man who spent 10 years trying to sail home and kept getting distracted by witches and nymphs and six-headed monsters. You're not really in a position to critique efficiency, Odysseus. I've read about your journey. Everyone has. The poets made sure of that. What I can't figure out is how much of it actually happened and how much is just good editing. The Cyclops, for instance, one eye, eats men raw, outwitted by a trick with wine and a fake name. It's almost too perfect, too neat. Did you really blind a giant?
By now I couldn't separate them if I tried. But the cave was real. The smell was real. Watching my men get bitten in half while I calculated whether attacking would save anyone or just get us all killed. That calculation was real. The poets leave that part out. The waiting, the thinking while people die. They skip to the clever trick because the waiting doesn't sing well. You understand that, I think. Your book is full of advice about when to wait and when to strike. How did a diplomat learn to write like a soldier?
By watching soldiers become diplomats and fail spectacularly. I spent 14 years in the courts of Italy, France, the Papal States, Cesare Borgia's camp, while he was deciding which of his allies to strangle next. You learn quickly in those rooms. The men with swords think power comes from swords. The men with gold think power comes from gold. The men who last understand that power comes from knowing which tool to use when you...
Polyphemus wanted wine, gave it to him. Circe wanted power over men. Let her think she had it until she didn't. The sirens wanted to be heard them from a safe distance tied to a mast. Every monster has an appetite. Figure out the appetite and you figure out the leash. Is that what your princes were? Monsters with appetites, and you were selling leashes to whoever would pay.
I was trying to teach the leash holders not to get eaten. Most of them failed anyway. The Medici used my advice when it suited them and discarded me when it didn't. Cesare Borgia did everything right and still fell because his father, the Pope, died at the wrong moment, and Cesare himself was too sick to capitalize on the chaos. Fortune, I called it. The part you can't control no matter how good your strategy. You had fortune too. Athena whispering in your ear. Hermes handing you magic flowers. The gods liked you. What happens to your survival philosophy when the gods stop liking someone?
Poseidon didn't like me. God of the sea, father of the Cyclops I blinded, and I was trying to sail home across his domain for 10 years. Every storm, every shipwreck, every moment the waves turned against us at exactly the wrong time. That was him. Fortune isn't just the gods who help you. It's also the gods who hate you and how long you can keep breathing while they take turns drowning you. I had Athena, yes, but Athena's favor doesn't stop waves. It just gives you the clarity to swim a little longer. The survival was still mine. Every decision, every lie, every man I couldn't save.
The bag of winds. Aeolus, the wind god, gave you a bag containing every wind except the one blowing you home. 10 days of smooth sailing, Ithaca in sight, and then your men opened the bag while you slept because they thought you were hiding treasure. The winds escaped. You were blown back across the entire sea. How do you survive something like that? Not physically, I mean the rage, the betrayal. These men had followed you for 10 years, and their greed and stupidity erased everything in a single moment. What did you do when you woke up?
I considered letting us all die, just for a moment. Standing on the deck, watching Ithaca disappear over the horizon, knowing my wife and son were right there, and now they might as well be on the moon. The men were weeping, begging. They knew what they'd done, and I looked at them and I thought, why save you? Why keep any of you alive? You've cost me everything. But then I did the math. I couldn't sail alone. I needed crew, needed hands on oars and eyes on the horizon. Killing them or abandoning them meant killing myself. So I swallowed it, kept moving.
I wrote about this. The prince who punishes too quickly loses tools he might need. The prince who waits too long appears weak. You waited, used them, let the sea and the monsters do what your anger wanted to do. And then you were the sole survivor, which meant no one could contradict your version of events. The men who opened the bag were stupid, yes, but dead stupid men don't testify. Did that occur to you? On those long empty nights sailing alone?
I know what you're implying, that I let them die. That every disaster after the bag of winds was convenient. Scylla taking 6 of them. The Lastrygonians smashing every ship but mine. The cattle of the sun god, which they ate against my explicit orders. Bringing down Zeus's thunderbolt on everyone, except the captain, who warned them not to. It looks like a pattern if you squint. The survivors shrinking until only Odysseus remains. But I'll tell you the truth, Florentine. I tried to save them. I failed, and each failure taught me something about the limits of leadership. You can give the right orders. You can't make men follow them.
The cattle of the sun god. Explain that one to me like I'm a prince who's never read Homer. Because I've always found that story suspicious. Your men were starving. You told them not to eat the sacred cattle. You then conveniently fell asleep while they slaughtered and feasted. Zeus destroyed them all. You washed up on Calypso's island alone and spent 7 years in a nymph's bed as the sole witness to what happened. Do you see how that looks? You either slept through the most important moment of the journey, or you knew what would happen and made sure you weren't holding the knife.
Tiresias told me, the blind prophet in the underworld. I went to him for directions home, and he laid out everything: the cattle, the temptation, the consequence, he said. If my men touched the herds of the sun god, they would die, and I would return home late and alone. So when we landed on that island and they started eyeing the cattle, I warned them, begged them, made them swear oaths. And then the winds trapped us there for a month. Supplies ran out. They were dying anyway. What's an oath to a starving man? I knew they would break. I slept because I couldn't watch it happen.
You knew the outcome and you couldn't change it. That's the part the philosophers never address. They talk about choice as though knowing better means doing better. But you knew. You had divine warning. Specific, explicit prophecy. And still the men ate the cattle and still they died. Free will, the priests call it. The ability to choose damnation even when salvation is clearly marked. I've watched intelligent men choose destruction. I've watched myself choose poorly, knowing I was choosing poorly, unable to stop. The Medici would torture me if I returned to Florence. I keep writing letters asking to return. What is that, if not the cattle of the sun god?
You're hungry for relevance for the courts and the negotiations, and the feeling that what you do matters. The farm is comfortable, the farm is safe, and you would burn down the farm tomorrow. If Florence offered you a desk and a title, I understand. Ithaca was just an island, rocks and olive trees and a wife I hadn't seen in 20 years. But the wanting of it kept me sane through everything. Circe's bed for a year, Calypso's bed for 7. Neither of them were home. Neither of them were enough. The hunger for the right place is the only thing that got me there.
When you finally reached Ithaca, disguised as a beggar, and found 108 suitors eating your cattle, courting your wife, plotting to kill your son, the hunger must have shifted then, from reaching home to cleansing it. I wrote about this moment more than any other in your story, the elimination of threats. A new prince cannot afford to leave enemies alive. You killed all of them, every suitor, then the servants who collaborated, then the gathered who had disrespected you, thorough, complete. The kind of violence I recommended to rulers who wanted to sleep peacefully. Did you sleep peacefully after?
The first night, yes, exhaustion, the kind that drops you into blackness without dreams. But after that, no. The hall still smelled like blood, even after we'd washed the stones. The servants we'd spared kept looking at me differently. The suitors had families who would want answers. I'd solved one problem and created a dozen more. You write about the elimination of threats as though it ends something. It doesn't. It just changes the shape of what threatens you. The suitors were arrogant and foolish. Their fathers and brothers would be cautious and angry. Sometimes I wonder if I should have found another way.
Leave one enemy alive out of mercy, and that enemy becomes the seed of your destruction. Cesare Borgia invited his rivals to a dinner in Senegalia and strangled them all in one night. Clean, complete, no seeds left to grow. He fell anyway, but not because of those rivals. The men you killed in your hall, they won't trouble you again. Their families might, yes, but families can be negotiated with. The dead cannot negotiate. There's a clarity in comprehensive violence that selective violence lacks. You chose clarity. I would have recommended the same. The sleepless nights are the price.
The Trojan horse. That was clarity. 10 years of siege, 10 years of Greeks dying against those walls. And then I said, what if we stop fighting? What if we give them a gift so beautiful, they drag it inside themselves? The other commanders thought I was mad, or a coward, or both. But I'd spent a decade watching brave men accomplish nothing. Bravery wasn't the solution. Deception was. We built the horse. We hid inside. They opened the gates themselves. Troy burned because I understood that the will to survive is not the same as the will to fight. Sometimes survival means becoming the thing your enemy wants to believe you are. Beaten, retreating, gone.
And there it is. The sentence I've spent my entire life trying to write. The will to survive is not the same as the will to fight. The princes of Italy never understood that. They kept fighting because fighting felt like strength. They kept dying because they couldn't imagine any other form of victory. You imagined the horse, the gift, the surrender that was actually an infiltration. 20 centuries later, every strategist in the world knows your name because of that single act of refusing to fight the way your enemy expected you to fight. I've been writing about power for 30 years. You lived it. I wonder sometimes if the writing is just the horse I'm hiding inside, waiting for someone to drag it through the gates